You are a notary public working at a bank. A longtime client, Ms. Sanchez, arrives to finalize a mortgage document. She presents her identification, which is a government-issued ID. However, you notice that the ID expired 2 months ago. Ms. Sanchez insists she is the person named in the document and that the bank knows her well. The bank manager, who has dealt with Ms. Sanchez for years, confirms her identity. Ms. Sanchez is in a hurry and asks you to proceed with the notarization to avoid delaying the loan process. What should you do? To help us answer this question, let's have a look at section 182.5, which is found in the Notary Public License Law booklet entitled Satisfactory Evidence of Identity. And if we jump to subsection B, subsection 1, we can see here that identity can be confirmed by the presentation of the back and front of an identification card issued by a governmental agency, provided the card is valid and current. So with this in mind, let's have a look at our 4 choices to determine the solution. Choice A states, proceed with notarizing the document since the bank manager confirms our identity, even though the ID is expired. Now this is incorrect because, as we read before, whether or not the bank manager confirms identity, what's important here is that the ID not be expired, and therefore choice A is not the correct solution. Choice B states, refuse to notarize the document because Ms. Sanchez's ID is expired and is not considered valid identification under New York law. Now, so far this seems like this may be the correct solution, but let's keep reading the next 2 choices to see if perhaps there's a better or alternative solution. Choice C states, notarize the document but attach a note explaining that the bank manager confirmed Ms. Sanchez's identity in place of valid ID. This is incorrect because the bank manager's confirmation does not help in this instance. What's important is that the ID be valid, and therefore choice C is not the correct solution. And finally, choice D states, refuse to notarize the document and advise Ms. Sanchez to return with a valid, unexpired government-issued ID before proceeding. Now this choice is similar to B in that in both instances the notary public is refusing to notarize. But in choice D, the notary public is taking a prudent step, which is to advise Ms. Sanchez that the notarization can still happen as long as you present a valid, unexpired government-issued ID in accordance with the law. In choice B, the notary public did not provide that option, which would possibly lead Ms. Sanchez to believe that she cannot get the notarization done. Therefore, between choices D and B, choice D is the more prudent solution, which means we can strike out choice B as the correct solution. And therefore, choice D, refuse to notarize the document and advise Ms. Sanchez to return with a valid, unexpired government-issued ID before proceeding, is the correct solution.